about this too. You know, J-Rock pushing this whole 5 to 3 month thing tested, right? So I'm like, I'm talking to Al. I'm like, man, B turned down this fight. How you think it's gonna look? You got my trainer going out here saying that I'm doing these, that, the other things. It's different from coming from a casual fan. It sounds so truthful. You know what I'm saying? Coming from my trainer. So man, I'm talking to him, man. He said, man, I was just talking about the weight loss in between fights. You know, the lifestyle. I said, what you spoke about the lifestyle? What you meant by that? He said, man, you know, you blowing up in between weights and stuff. I'm like, I mean, yeah, but all this stuff you speaking on, you could have came and talked to me. I didn't know, have no idea about it. You know what I mean?
And what other fighter would want to go to him knowing that if he's going to dump on you for 12 years?
Exactly.
I mean, so I'm trying to think what kind of common sense is.
With him, like, about a month or two ago, he was like, he was very apologetic about what he said.
Yeah.
You know, he realized that that's the conversation that you two should have had one-on-one.
Right.
I did ask him, I didn't know that you had went and got a new trainer, but I did ask him if you did place a call to come back, would you be open to coming back? He said he would like to come back. You know, he would like to sit down and talk to you further before the actual decision was made.
Right.
But you know, you moved on.
Right, yeah, but we had that conversation and he gave me an option. He was either him and without the team I have or nothing.
I think he's violated.
Yeah, man, I've been with them guys for 12 years, you know what I'm saying?
The other question about your industry, the term undefeated, I think, does it have too much gold currency? I mean, we saw Mayweather for years just avoid fights because is that something that we need to deal with, that maybe we should make as big a deal that if you lose a fight or two, it's not the end of the world, and that maybe it's not a bad thing. Otherwise, you're going to have people avoiding fights.
Right, exactly. Well, undefeated is everything, but it is good. You know, holding the undefeated record is something.
Nobody wants to lose, but I'm just saying that it just seems that it may ruin this industry because once somebody, it's like a car out of the showroom. You know, it loses so much value. It shouldn't be that way.
Exactly. It doesn't mean it's the end of everything. You know what I mean? Look at Julian Williams. Look at Tony Harrison. You know, even though he lost to me, they're still bringing up his name on top level competition. There you go. So it doesn't mean it's the end of everything. It just means you know, it's a stepping stone where you have to overcome.
What are some of the things that you've learned?
Thanks.
You know, since you moved on from the training, what are some of the things that you like kind of changed since?
Man, like small things. You know, if you look back at my fights, you can see that I was the guy with the clumsy feet. You know, I was switching. I was switching from southpaw to left hand, and you know, I'm walking in with things like keeping my hands down. You know, I had this awkward style to me, but you can see I had the will, determination. I think that's what won a lot of my fights more than basically the skill set behind it. You know, of course, we're working on a lot of the defense. You know, I've been taking a lot of shots, man. I'm sorry.
He won't let you. He won't let you take the mic.
And you know, just the defense and work behind jab.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a taller fighter for my weight class. I was using my size in a different way. I was walking my opponents down to try to tire them out.
Yeah.
You know, we can use it in a different way too. We got the height and reach, so we working on a ton of things.
When you say you chose Santana, can you speak more on that? Like, was it a style thing, or like this is a good fight for me to come back and show everybody exactly what I learned in my last previous fights?
Right. It was both, man. You know, because I am working on things and switching things up. We didn't want to go in a fight too tough. Not to knock the Santana, but it was more of a style thing also too because of what we have been working on. Mm-hmm. We didn't want a taller, a longer rangier fighter like me. Yeah. You know, to work on things like me learning how to work on the outside and not working so much inside and things like that. And it just made sense to go with someone like Santana.
If you become, you win on January 25th, will you immediately go after J-Rock? If J-Rock is successful in his title defense in his fight?
Well, I would love to have that happen, but after I turn down the rematch clause, it's not up to me. Now it becomes up to J-Rock. So I will either have to work my way up there if he doesn't accept a rematch directly after this, or we can go to it. But I'm praying he let me fight him directly after this.
Will you continue to pursue him if he doesn't?
Oh yes.
Like, will you just like get the media I want you?
Everybody, the media. I was staying on social media, man. But I hear a lot about everyone saying I moved up to 160 while I'm not going back after my titles. Come on, man. Y'all know me. I was fighting any and everybody, man. I would never have ducked the fight. Yeah. It was a reason why I did not go into the rematch. And of course, as soon as this fight is was over. The first thing I wanted to do was face Julian. So,
you know, training out of state, how was that for you? Because a lot of times you train at home a lot.
Right.
Now you got the new trainer. You mentioned you training in Colorado. How has that been for you?
It's great, man, because, you know, like these small things that I didn't pay attention to, you know, always having my training camp here at home. I didn't realize, you know, being away and focusing strictly on boxing, you know, having the chefs that cook for you every day. You know,
okay.
And things like that.
Things like that.
There you go,
Not mama cooking food.
There you go, exactly. So to avoid the distractions, all things like that. I didn't know it was such a great value access to the training. So you know, it's very different for me, but I love it, man. You know, it shows me that I was missing out on some things now that I'm picking up on.
Leading up to the J-Rock fight, do you feel, I don't want to say do you feel like you overlooked them, but a lot of things took place from prior to the fight that might have kind of took you outside of the box, fighting at home, doing a lot of media press, everybody in your face, you know, Jarrett.
Right.
Do you think a lot of that took your focus away somewhat into that fight?
Definitely, man. You know, I watched the fight this weekend for the first time. You know, I never watched the fight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my first time watching this weekend, and I was just looking like, man, that was not the usual Jarrett, man. It was not so for the fighting style. It was the punches I was throwing, man. Like my shots didn't seem as sharp as they usually be.
Snappy.
Yeah, snappy,
was
man.
off a little bit.
Slapping with my punches a lot. You know, it wasn't a lot of power behind it. It was just I looked sluggish. It was a lot going on, man, and I just looked at that fight, man. I didn't feel like it was myself. But like I said, no excuse. Another thing I feel could have played a part was the knockdown.
Okay.
You know, it was in front of my hometown too.
I got you. You're like, damn, I got dropped.
Oh my goodness, man! I wanted to get that back so bad. I think I was going out there trying too hard, but you know, it could have been a lot of things. But he was a better man that night.
The support afterwards. What kind of support have you received after the loss?
Well, you know, I got bashed a little bit. You know, of course, because you know the ones that always doubted me when I did beat some of the guys that some call a little more skillful than me. You know, I got the criticism there where they were saying, I told you Jarrett was just this fighter. He was using the size, this, that, and the other. But, you know, the true supporters, true Swift Nation fans, man, they always been there for me. And they've been holding down. So, other than that, man, that's all that really mattered.
January 25th, you got Swift on your chest.
Right.
You got Swift right here. It's a battle of the Swifts.
Nah, man.
It's like the comics, like, you know, Flash against Flash.
Look, this ain't the first time I put on Danny's car, so, you know, it's always love when I'm with Danny, man. You know, I reached out to Danny recently and like let him know that, man, he's one of the fighters that I kind of admire, man. You know what I'm saying? I look up to, you know, what he done in the sport. And, you know, it's all love with Danny.
You mentioned you mentioned not being as sharp or not feeling as sharp in your last fight. Your coach was making criticisms about blowing up with weight in between. Was there any issue making weight from the J-Rock fight?
No, man. That's why I didn't understand. I mean, he's basically saying I should be not at fight weight, but, you know, at least around fight weight year round. You know, I shouldn't be gaining 25, 30 pounds in between fights and things like that. And, man, I forgot, and going on to say, he also said he expected this. He expected me to lose, right? So, you know, I'm talking to him like, expected this, man. All these guys, you know, passing in the last 3 years for these fighters, especially my type of style, me going to war, Lord, me, the type of shots I be taking. Right. For you to say you expected me to lose, man, prepare me for battle like that, man, it's outrageous, man.
Is there any idea as to what, like, did he ever elaborate on that, like why he expected you to lose that fight?
I mean, he went to speak on those things, man. He said the lifestyle he lives, the weight gain, you know, I don't know, man, you know. And to be honest with you, I had no idea. That's why it was so surprising to me, man. You know what I mean? I came home to something that I never heard of come from my trainer in my life, so I don't know what it came from.
Jarrett, were you having fun though? Were you dancing and partying at all?
I mean, well, at the end, after a fight, say when I went on vacation, I may have a celebratory drink, but it was never anything too substantial to interfere with anything of training, man. You see me in them 12 rounds. You know, in the second half of the fight when I am there, I'm always coming back. You know, I was never out of shape in a way where it would interfere with my boxing.
Do you want the belt back more or the J-Rock fight more?
J-Rock fight.
So if J-Rock weren't successful in defending his title and he lost his strap, is that a fight that you need to get back?
Yes, most definitely, man. It's more, it's something with me, man. You know, it's a pride thing because I knew that wasn't the best Jarrett Hurd. I knew the situation I was in, and you know, I wouldn't feel like I proved to myself that I was a better man that night, and I said we have another fight.
Was there ever a thought of moving up to 160?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. You know, I'm not sure. Well, to be honest, let me rephrase it because I do gain a lot of weight in between fights. You know, I can get up to almost 190 and things like that. So if we can't get the fight within a year and a half, 2 years from now, I may have to move up just because I am losing a substantial amount of weight.
You mind me asking, what are you right now? I mean, you look rock solid,
Yeah.
but not 154.
I'm at 178 right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And can I say that kind of missed the blonde hair up there? That was your
yeah.
signature thing. When did you change it and why?
Yeah, I changed it a few months after the J-Rock fight. You know, I was just like, man, it was a time for a change. It's so crazy. Before the J-Rock fight, I got interviewed on PBC with Porter and Abner Mares, and they asked me, they said, do you ever think about cutting your hair? I said, man, sometimes I want to cut it, but it's my signature.
Right.
And, you know, after the loss, you know, time for a change was just another reason to get me to cut it.
Did you think going into the Julian Williams fight, never going to lose, man? I'm never going to lose. Not in a cocky way, but just believing in yourself.
Of course, man. You know, you got to have that mindset. You know, I never expected to lose that night, you know. It was just a bad night for me, man. But, of course, going to every fight I expect to win, I'm thinking to win.
And you didn't want to make excuses. And I tweeted this out. I said, you know what, Classy Hurd says J-Rock was the better man that night.
Right.
I like to say that it's not excuses, but there are explanations for things. And you touched on some of it.
Right.
What was it mostly? Or was it the combination of things? And what percentage were you? Were you 75% of your best, or what would you estimate?
Man, to be honest, man, when I looked at that fight, that wasn't even half of the best Hurd, man. That was about 50%, man.
And so was it mental?
It wasn't really. It wasn't really mental. It was. When I think about it, I wasn't prepared like I prepared for the fight with Arizona Law. You know, I was in the media a lot. I was, you know, traveling back and forth. I did see the difference between the relationship with my trainer that I didn't have in previous fights. He was kind of distant. He had a couple guys on the undercard. You know, he was training them. You know, we didn't prepare right, warming up in the back. You know, things like that. It was a whole bunch going on, man.
You weren't cocky, but you were pulled in many different directions doing media and stuff. And this time you would say, you know what, less of that, more just concentrating on fighting.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
Exactly, man. That's exactly what's happening. You know, I'm more focusing on, you know, perfecting my craft, getting back to the old me, and you know, I can't wait to show you guys January 25th.